Hello beautiful people and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls One Doc.
One Doc.
It's your girl BD.
It's Foreign's the fiance.
And we are back. I'm doing a Foreign's today and I'm holding my mic like a superstar because my stand is acting up and we ain't got time.
Okay, Beyonce.
Trust me. Yeah, so I think we get right into it. Today's been a long day.
Very long day.
And it's time to get on with things. So we're just going to get into it today. So today's documentary that we are covering is called The Murder of Jill Dando. You can watch it on YouTube. I think it's on BBC iPlayer, but for everyone who's not in the UK, you can just watch it on YouTube. Yeah. It's a lot easier. Also, we have some important housekeeping at the end of this episode, but we're going to do that after the documentary. So let's do the documentary first. So we open up with old footage of this lady called Jill Dando. She's a BBC presenter. She gets promoted within the whole presenter hierarchy, and she's on the 6 o'clock news, and that's like the creme de la creme. Like, you know, you've made it if you're on the 6 o'clock news.
Yeah.
And so her colleague and co-presenter Martin Lewis is here with us in the documentary, and he's singing her praises. You know, she's so amazing, blah blah blah. There's so much footage of Jill, and we've said this in previous episodes, like, oh sorry, speaking of previous episodes, I'm sorry to detour. I was listening to our Pray Away episode 55, yeah, and on that episode you were talking about how, oh yeah, it's really corny to do an engagement shoot. Like, I don't think I'm going to do an engagement shoot, and lo, I'm a motherfucking hold.
I was peer pressured. Peer pressure is...
It was just so funny to me, like, listening to you being like, yeah, no, absolutely not, and like, now you've done it. And it was really nice, actually, for everyone out there. It's actually really nice.
It was funny to me to have done it, but I was peer pressured by numerous parties, to do it. But it was nice though.
It was cute. It was corny, yes,
corny,
but also cute.
I think they're always going to be corny.
It's corn.
I know that. Yeah, I'm stifling the yawn, but I know the TikTok.
Look at stifling the yawn. But yeah, so there's so much footage of Jill. She's so full of life and so beautiful.
She's
and she
just
seems like
Diana. Like
literally,
she's just
God.
Diana.
I couldn't put my finger on what it was, but she literally is Diana.
She's just Diana. Like, yeah.
Great vibes.
I was trying to figure out if she died before or after Diana. Can't remember. I don't know.
I think.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, it's called The Murder of Jill Dando.
I guess, yeah.
Oh, I don't know actually. No, it was after, because it was 99. It was Diana like 94, 95 or something.
No, Diana was must have been later than that, because I remember going to...
you were grown, yeah, because you went to Buckingham Palace with your parents. So yeah. Jill Dando's good vibes. She's excelling in her career. She's like doing holiday shows. She's on Crime Watch. She's like living the life la vida. Like, she's really that bitch, yeah. So we have this bit where her co-presenter of Crime Watch, who's called Nick Ross, he's saying how lovely she was, and like, he was saying she would take off her heels for the outro of each show so that she wouldn't appear to be taller than him. And I'm just like,
never that.
Okay, in the outro she's still taller than you, so like, it doesn't really...
on top of that, like, never, like, please women, like, men, like, don't slap enough, like...
It's okay, just be, do you know what I mean? Just be confident in your height.
And
like,
he should be secure in his height, yeah.
Exactly, just be saucy, it's okay.
Stand on your wallet.
But anyway, Jill is that bitch. She's really successful and she's really humble. And she's at like celebrity events and nice hotels. And she's like still very humble and the girl next door. It's very indicative of the British. Like, they don't like people to be confident in themselves. They just want people to kind of like be complimented, but like not be confident in themselves.
Yeah. They want you to...
It's really weird,
humble,
but it's very British. So now on-screen text tells us it's the day of the murder, and that day is the 26th of April 1999. We meet her neighbour Helen Noble, and she's on her way home. She sees Jill's car, and then she looks at Jill's front door, and then she sees Jill, but like lying on the floor, right? And so we hear the call that she makes to the police.
Hello, ambulance. I'm walking along Gowan Avenue. It looks like there's somebody collapsed. Confidentially, it looks like it's Jill Dando, and she's collapsed in her door. There's a lot of blood.
Did you just approach and check out the lady's breathing for me?
She doesn't look as if she's breathing. She's got blood coming from her nose. Her arms are blue.
I just need to find out if she's breathing. Is the lady's chest going up and down?
Oh my God, no, I don't think she's alive. I'm sorry.
Don't worry, I'm going to get some help there as fast as I can.
So Jill looks like she's collapsed in front of her door, but there's lots and lots of blood. And so the detective that handles this case is called Hamish Campbell, right? And
I hate
at first,
that name.
Hamish, yeah, I was kind of like, why is your name Hamish?
I hate it. I'm sorry for all the Hamishes out there, but I just hate
the
it.
Hami out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like a very old name. It seems weird that somebody is called that. I mean, this was 1990 something, but he's old, yeah. But like, it's weird that someone was called. I don't know. I don't know. It's giving like VeggieTales.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they think that she's been stabbed, but then they actually discover that she's been shot, which is weird because it's the UK. People don't really get shot around here, like not by civilians.
It's so weird to be shot in the UK. It's like, whoa, like that's crazy.
So where did you get a gun?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, really weird. So her family are told that she was stabbed, and initially they say it was an accident, but then they reveal how she actually died. In this documentary, we meet her sister and her brother, and the way they're talking about it, like it's fresh. It's like it happened yesterday.
I think that's her cousin. She only had one brother.
Oh, her cousin. Yeah, sorry, my bad. It's her cousin. Yeah, her brother and her cousin. And it seems like it's really fresh for them. Like it's really sad. And then we get on-screen text that says motive. So we learn that Jill was shot with a 9mm semi-automatic pistol, and the newscaster tells us this can't be legally held, which is exactly what we thought. Like normal people they're not running around with guns.
I was gonna say, like, I don't think any guns are legal, but like obviously if you do fox hunting or whatever they call it, then you can
like some people may have like a firearm of some kind, but it's weird. Do you know what I mean? Like it's strange. Like there's a reason that you have it. My granddad had a gun. It's so random. I didn't know this till like he died. I mean, apparently like everybody knew, but I didn't know, which is random because like if you ever met my grandpa, he was like the most. Yeah, but if you live in Nigeria, like it makes sense for you to have a gun. Like,
I know,
armed robbers
but
come, what are you gonna say?
Still, like
you just didn't see him.
Yeah,
like that.
My grandpa was the kind of person that I felt like if armed robbers came, he would like try to talk to them and kumbaya. Like he was very.
So let's not do this.
Yeah,
let's use sense.
Yeah, like my child, like that kind of vibe. So it was interesting.
And they would actually listen to him and be like,
probably,
you know what, I repent of my sins.
There were very few people who didn't listen to my granddad. Like he was very like his energy was very
that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, my granddad had guns.
Really?
I'll tell you more offline. Yeah.
Crazy.
There's so much footage of Jill, right, in this documentary. And there's this like united sadness and outcry from the whole country, literally just like Diana.
She was a national
And
treasure.
I have no recollection of any of this happening. I was only a baby girl, so, you know, I wasn't really with it.
I mean, you
really
were 5?
sad.
4?
Yeah, I was watching Blue's Clues.
4, 5? Okay. It's just weird. If I remember Diana's death, I should have remembered.
I don't remember Diana though. I don't actually remember it.
You don't remember?
No, but my mum wasn't like obsessed with Diana.
I literally remember like exactly what I saw the day we went to Buckingham Palace and what my mum was even wearing when she was crying.
I literally,
but
I believe she died because you know she did, but I literally have no personal
I think we
recollection.
all have little things that happen in our childhood that we randomly like just remember intense.
I remember 9/11. I remember that
but
one.
We weren't kids then.
Yeah, we were.
We're in primary school.
I wasn't up to 10. 2001.
Was it 2001?
It was 2001.
Yeah, but we weren't.
Yeah, we were. I was like 6, 7. Yeah, you're a child. What's the difference between 5 and 7?
I remember that day like it was yesterday.
I remember it. That's what I'm saying. I remember that, but I don't remember Diana.
No, I remember Diana.
Yeah. Okay. So no one understands why this happened to Jill. Like it's one of those things where it's like it's sad, but it's sadder to the public because this is a woman with, you know, a really high profile and like people, you know, looking at her and like, you know, like every evening watching her on the TV and knowing that like now she's not here. So it's proper sad.
Yeah.
So police think that maybe it's a stalker or maybe even a professional hit, and they get loads of calls and suggestions and tips of who might have done it, right? And there's a lot to consider because she was killed during the day. It was like 12 in the afternoon. She was killed on her doorstep. It wasn't a dark alley, which means that like maybe a mad person who didn't care about any of these things did it. Or maybe it was like someone sent out a hit on her and it was like professionally done and that's why they could do it so brazenly. So on-screen text now tells us an organised killing. So there's this thought, right, that maybe her death was something to do with her presenting Crime Watch. And for anyone who's not British that's listening, Crime Watch is this show where they just go through crimes that haven't been solved yet and they watch them yet. And so they like talk to the audience and plead with them for information, right? But then that theory doesn't really make sense because like she's just the messenger and her co-host is very much alive. So it's just kind of like, this line of like thinking is not really going to work. The police investigate all the cases that she's covered, which think about it, is actually a waste of time, but they investigate them and they find nothing.
What else are British police good at doing?
nothing. So then it becomes, oh, maybe she was actually assassinated, right?
My mother did tell me the Serbs had said when we bombed their broadcasting station that we'd killed the Jill Dando of Serbia. The fact that it might have been a tit-for-tat reprisal, then I can understand that that might have been the case, particularly since the way Jill was killed made me think it represented something bigger than the actual act.
So basically they're trying to say that like it's tit for tat. So like Serbia, like, so we as in us, as in the UK, as in not me personally, bombed them man.
Yeah. Even when she said like, we, I was like, who you talking about, bitch? Like,
I was like, who's we? We? Are we French? She was like, literally. So they were like, oh, because it was their broadcasting station that they bombed, how maybe their retaliation was to kill a broadcasting.
But apparently she said that they'd killed the Serbian equivalent of Jill Dando.
Yeah, I guess so.
Which,
it's like someone bombing BBC and Jill Dando dying. Yeah. And so then someone from here going to Serbia and be like, oh, you're Jill Dando, yeah. Equivalent, pow, let's kill you. Which I think was really like, I mean, I'm not saying, I still don't know. Yeah, it's really far-fetched though, literally.
Because it's just like okay. Sounds bad, but in the grand scheme of like war and what you could do, these are small fry. Like,
yeah, I was like, I'm sorry, but of everyone that you wanted to. Speaking of which, Liz Truss.
It's just so funny because we just like spoke about.
Did we not just say in What Is a Woman episode 90? This is going to be what, 92 or 93? Did we not just say that she's on her way out? And where is she now? She's out.
Bro, they need to give us an election. Like at this point. It's
these
very,
men are playing with our emotions.
Yeah, they need to give us an election. Like this is further going to destabilize the pound. Actually, apparently went up. Yeah, interesting actually. But it depends on who they put in next. Either way, we need to. I'm actually getting stressed out about politics.
How did they get so many do-overs? I don't get it. Like this like
it's not do-overs. It's just that the last elected government was Conservative. So obviously each time one of the PMs leaves, then. Like,
but it's like, should there not be a cap on, okay man, you man get twice, and then
I think now they're gonna literally be like, you have to call for a general election. Like, you guys have completely fucked it up. I think, but at that there may not be. And I was hoping she would stay long enough for them to do a vote of no confidence, and then there had to be an election.
Oh, then there had to be.
Yeah, but now it's like they just need to replace the PM. And apparently people are saying Boris should come back, but I didn't even know that was a thing. If Boris comes back, this country, put it in the bin.
These men are freestyling. I'm telling you, it doesn't make any sense.
If Boris comes back here, like, this country is just Family Guy. Like, we're in a Family Guy episode or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's not real life. Somebody is sketching the next scene, because what the fuck are you talking about? Bring Boris back? Are you fucking kidding me?
Like, for what reason? Someone that left. Why we what? For why?
It's
to why?
It's a fucking joke, man. It's a fucking joke.
Yeah, it's a fucking joke. So our detective Hamish Campbell is like, yeah, this theory is a bit far-fetched. Like, why would someone from Serbia come all the way here to kill her? And like, wouldn't they brag about it? Wouldn't they be like, haha, you did this to us, we did this to you?
Yeah.
So they say that there's no evidence of Serbian involvement. Of course there isn't. Leave the Serbs alone, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Then we hear about the bullet that was used in the shooting, and it was kind of weird because there were these 6 like indentations in the bullet, so like these little dents which proved that it was tampered with. And they think that it was tampered with so they could remove explosive powder to silence it. And like, I didn't know this was a thing, but it also means that like whoever did this had only one bullet, and they were like, they had to use this one bullet because it was just one bullet they found and it had this indentation. So it's almost like they messed around with the bullet and were like, right, okay, this bullet's got your name on it, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then it actually kills on-screen text.
Right, exactly. So on-screen text, and if you haven't clocked, like, these on-screen texts are just kind of like the
chapters almost.
Yeah, chapters and how the investigation was going, that sort of thing. So on-screen text says a single operator, ? So now we're looking at if someone Jill knew could have done this, because most people unfortunately are killed by someone they know. So Judith Dando, who's Jill's cousin, is saying, look, she's famous, so maybe it's because she's famous and that's why she's died. So now we learn that she had some stalkers or like obsessed fans. And maybe she was killed by one of them, like a whole Selena situation. We hear from a witness who heard a scream but no gunshot, and then this witness, who's a guy, sees this other guy walking away quickly from Jill's home. At the time, doesn't really think anything of it. He's just kind of like, oh, that was weird. Fine. On-screen text now tells us the invisible months. So we're 250 days after Jill's murder. No suspects, no arrests, nothing so far. And at this point, about 2 million taxpayer pounds, have been pumped into this inquiry.
I wonder how much has been pumped into Madeleine McCann.
I don't want to know.
Yeah, I guess. I don't
want to know. There's been lots of statements, lots of calls, and over 2,000 potential suspects. Imagine how long this is. Like, having to, and knowing that most of these are going to be nothing.
Yeah,
what if it is?
Yeah,
and that's why that's not my job. It does this thing where, like, it fast forwards the numbers, so it goes from 250 to 365 days, so a year. It's just so dramatic. Since the murder of Jill Dando, and police are convinced that it was a loner stalker kind of person, right? And Hamish, I'm going to call him Campbell. Campbell, the detective, is reading out his notes from that time. And this is when I clocked that Liz, wow, trust is on my mind. This is when I clocked that Jill didn't even live where she was killed. She actually lived in Chiswick and not Gowan Avenue where she was found.
I think, but she owned it. She owned the property.
Yeah, I guess so. But I guess that's not really where she was like living.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, if it was a hit, how would they know that she was going to be there?
Yeah, it was so random. Yeah.
But if it was a stalker, maybe they were following her anyway, and they were just kind of like saw an opportunity and took it. Now we have more on-screen text. I feel like this documentary was mainly reading. We have more on-screen text that says Barry George. So we learn about Barry George. He also goes by Barry Bulsara, but they call him Barry George. And he'd been a name that they got earlier on. So someone kind of like gave his name as like, oh, look into this guy. But they never really acted on this tip, right? And this organisation, HAFAD, which stands for Hammersmith and Fulham Action for Disability, they gave the police his name. Yeah. Right? So Barry George is kind of like seen getting a cab or trying to get a cab away from the crime scene, but he had no money. So it's like, at this point, that not only are you a potential murderer, you also have poor planning skills.
You're broke.
Because, like, would you not consider
how you're going to escape
from the crime scene?
Yeah.
Like, and so then they say that, you know, he was there also the next time trying to plant, so like the next day he went back trying to plant like a false alibi, which I assume he was trying to be like, oh hey, remember I was here at this time, so it could be which it didn't make
which
sense
on its own is so fucking dodgy. I'm gonna report you anyways. Like, imagine if someone just comes to me and says to me, oh, remember I was here yesterday. I'm calling the police, and I was like, I'll be like, I don't know what crime this person committed, but they committed something.
This guy's trying to cover something up.
Like, what are you talking about?
Something is amiss. Yeah, it was weird. I was just like, what? So, on-screen text tells us that an officer was assigned to go and speak to Barry George. So he'd been to jail for attempted rape, he'd been convicted of posing as a police officer, and he'd been rejected from the police. So it doesn't actually make him a killer, none of these things, but they're notable because it's like, are you just a weird guy, or are you a weird guy who is also a killer?
Yeah.
So the police search his house, and they find lots of film with hundreds of pictures of women, notes with car number plates and addresses of women's houses, newspaper cuttings of Jill Dando, gun magazines, pictures of him holding a semi-automatic gun, which is the same kind of gun used to kill Jill.
Yeah.
So the evidence gets sent off for forensic analysis, including this coat that matches the description that witness guy was like, oh yeah, this guy was wearing this coat. Now, in the pocket of this coat, they find gunshot residue, and that matches the gunshot residue found on Jill's body. So it's kind of like, oh, finally, literally, thank Jesus, we've got the guy. So Barry is arrested on the 25th of June 2000, right? And so we hear some of the interview.
Did you ever buy the G145 8mm blank firing government automatic?
No, sir.
Have you ever possessed one of those?
No, sir.
Have you ever handled one of those?
No, sir.
Have you ever fired one of those?
No, sir.
He's denying it, you know, he changes his alibi. He denies having, firing, and handling the gun. And they know that he had this gun, right? So Campbell is like, all we have is this like teeny weeny particle of gunshot residue. That's all they have, like physically linking him to the crime scene. So it's 369 days after Jill was killed, and they charge him with the murder. And so Judith, Jill's cousin, she doesn't actually think that he did it. She feels like, oh, it's kind of convenient, you know, that this all came together like this.
Like blaming the local weirdo.
And then Detective Campbell was like, no, I disagree. Like he did that shit. Yeah. So now it's almost 2 years after Jill's death, and Barry George's trial starts. So on 26th of February 2001, the trial starts, and it lasts for 52 days. The jury is out for 5 days, and on the 2nd of July, Barry George is convicted of Jill's death and sentenced to life in prison.
Life here is never life, though.
Yeah, it's not. It's just light work. So we get talking head saying that, you know, the evidence wasn't actually sufficient to justify his conviction. And it was really all that cinched this case was one particle of gunshot residue. One, that's it, right? So Barry appeals. I mean, I would appeal. Even if I did it, I'd be like, bro, like, all you have is this one particle.
Yeah.
That's enough. But then also it's like, where did the particle come from then?
Exactly.
Where did it come from?
Exactly.
But then why would there only be one particle?
But it's been a
Do you know what I
year.
mean?
Like, the jacket could have been clean.
Maybe it's been like degraded or it's been washed and stuff like that. Yeah.
Like this
one
English
stubborn
weather
particle held on.
alone will wash out any of your sins from your clothes. So
Yeah, not the sins. So yeah, he appeals, it fails, and so back to jail he goes. And then we're here with Angela Shaw. Angela Shaw is a forensic scientist who specializes in gunshot residue. So we get a bunch of on-screen text. It says, 4 years later, Barry George's legal team made a new submission to the Criminal Cases Review Commission. So from what I understand, they basically agree with the science. Like, the particle of gunshot residue that was found on him was indistinguishable from that on the shell casing and that was in Jill's hair. So basically that proves that it came from the same place. However, how important is that one particle a year after the murder? So it's kind of like, it was, the particle was the same, but like, it's been a year. Like, is that particle still relevant? You could have
picked that up from numerous places.
From anywhere. Yeah, literally, they even say you can pick it up from a train. I said, my brother, what train? What, the Jubilee line?
Literally.
What train?
You'd be surprised.
Nah, a new fear unlocked. What if I'm standing next to someone who shot someone and now they test my jacket and I'm...
Well, you shouldn't be convicted based off of that one particle, hey?
Well, there you go, appeal. So Campbell, the detective, is like, yeah, you know, I hear that, yeah, but
Campbell,
also
the detective,
that particle,
not the soup.
Campbell, Detective Campbell. He's kind of like, yeah, like, I hear that, that's great and everything, but it also could have just come because he shot the gun.
Yeah,
right.
Like,
but then him shooting a gun doesn't mean that he shot Jill. But then also it's kind of like, actually,
what are the odds that all these things line up and you're not the killer? I think he did that shit guilty as fuck.
I think so too. Well, actually, I do, but I also do. Anyway, we'll get to it at the end. We'll discuss. So, we get some on-screen text. The Court of Appeal found the gunshot residue inconclusive and quashed Barry George's conviction. So after 8 years, he's free, yeah? A retrial was ordered and the single particle of gunshot residue was ruled as inadmissible. On the 1st of August 2008, Barry George was found not guilty of Jill Dando's murder. And then it says he was wrongfully convicted and imprisoned for 8 years. So I'm kind of like, double jeopardy, innit? There's a double jeopardy thing here.
I don't know. But
so he can't be convicted of that again.
Till today, it's technically unsolved.
Yeah.
But British police are lazy. They'll just say we've done our best and we found the people.
And which is what happens. Because basically, Barry George has reduced capacity. From what they said, they don't especially go into it, but it seems like he kind of has like some reduced mental capacity, right? Yeah. And so he wasn't actually capable of carrying out this crime, which I don't think is true. I think he probably could have done it. I don't know if he did do it. But the police are still kind of like, yeah, well, we think we had the right guy. And then you can also tell that like the Campbell guy is very annoyed by the end of it. Because he's like...
It was hard work. It was a commitment and energy and drive by everybody to try to find a real resolution to the case.
And the producer's like, but you didn't in the end. And then Hamish just starts sort of like chatting shit. He's like,
we as an investigation team brought someone before the courts, and that is what we had to do. So we made the investigation, came to a conclusion, and submit the evidence. You know, the outcome is entirely out of our hands.
And it's like, I agree that the outcome is out of your hands, but then like, if there's no resolution then, because who killed Jill? Yeah. Because you're telling us, yeah, we got it right, and like, this guy did it.
But then you should have had enough, you should have presented enough evidence so that it would be a better outcome.
Exactly. And if he has literally been found not guilty now, that means that somebody out there did it. Who is that person?
Personally, for me, I think he did it. I don't think he planned to kill her like some sort of criminal mastermind. I think he was walking about and he saw her and he had this gun and he maybe wanted to try shooting it, and it just so happened that it killed her.
Yeah, I think if he did do it, it was more so an accident.
Yeah, like I don't think...
Or like, you know, kind of like Lenny in Of Mice and Men. It's like he didn't mean to...
I've never read it or watched it.
Who's Lenny? Who's the other one? There's Lenny, and then who's his mate? And there's Curly and his wife. Anyway, it's like he wouldn't mean to do it. He just doesn't know his own strength. Or like
that's what I think happened. Maybe. I think he was maybe just thinking like, oh, this gun, and then it went off and then shot her.
I do think that he was like obsessed with her though. Like, I do think that
of course, yeah.
He like targeted her, but maybe he didn't mean to. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because like, it's just like, how many things will line up? You just so happen to have the exact particle so what are the odds that you got on the same train that the killer
in a
got
country
and
don't
got
have that many guns?
Fuck off.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. Everyone close to Jill feels like Barry George should have been acquitted. So it makes you think, like, if her closest people felt like he didn't do it, then like, why did they think that?
I guess so.
Yeah. And that means they also don't feel like justice has been served.
Yeah. You
but
wouldn't,
it's been
though.
over 20 years now,
You
and there's still no closure.
You wouldn't feel like justice has been served for as long as it's unsolved. It's kind of like Adnan Saeed.
I was just gonna say that.
It's like that.
It is because like
his pet, the girl's pet family.
Yeah, him and Lee's family. I feel so bad for them.
Yeah, because you can tell that. I feel like deep down they know that he didn't do it. But for them, it's like the second he's released, it means that who killed her? Like, it's opening old wounds, which is why for them it's easier for him to just stay in prison and close this chapter. And you can't heal. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. It really is so sad. But yeah, now it's time for...
The real crime, I think, was the beard.
Our segment where we focus on something during the documentary that may not be criminal, but we definitely consider to be a crime. Have you got one?
The name Hamish.
Oh, that's a really good one. Yeah, mine was Barry George's house. It was fucking disgusting.
Oh my god,
it was so disgusting.
Hoarders like would shiver. Disgusting. Like, it was actually so gross.
It was, and I was just like, imagine that being part of your I mean, I used to do this job where I would like go to people's houses to do their eye test.
Did you ever see any really scary house?
The things I have seen, there's one time where like this guy's carpet was wet. I don't know how to explain it. It was like sticky, and I didn't deep it. Like I stepped onto it, and then like when I tried to pick up my foot to thing, it was like I had to like lift it. It was like heavy. It was like sticky. Have you ever been on a sticky carpet? Like, how does your carpet get sticky?
Was his whole house a mess though?
Yeah, I've been to some really nice houses, and I'm just like, rah, you people are living. And I've been to some houses where I'm like, no, where is the social services?
What's the worst like house you've seen?
The worst experience I had actually was like, it was just kind of creepy. It took ages to get into the flat because most of the patients there are like really like old, or like they can't like get out of the house very much. Yeah. So there's one time where like, and a lot of the times there's like a lockbox, so they give you the code and stuff, and then you get the key and then you get in. So it took ages to get into the lockbox, but I managed to do that, bearing in mind you're carrying all your equipment and stuff, and I was by myself. I get into the flat, and it's a flat, and there's like 2 flights of stairs, there's no lift. Yeah, so I'm like carrying my little bags and stuff across. Yeah, and then I go into the door, and like the flat is like dark, and I literally was like, what is, as like, Lord Jesus, if this is the end of me, like, let me know now. Yeah. So I like open the door and go in. I'm like, oh, hello, like Mr. whatever his name was, and then like there's nothing, and I see like a little light in the thing, and I'm like, hello, and then he's like, oh, I'm here, and I was like, okay. And then he's like lying in his bed. Like, it was just so, I literally was just like,
are they meant to lie in bed?
Some of them are bed bound, so then they're just in their bed. Yeah, I've been to quite a few that are bed bound. And do you know what it shows me as well is that like you can see 2 people who have like a very similar disability or very similar health condition, and like someone is living in like squalor, and then someone has like all the money, and like they're obviously it's going to affect you, and it's like terrible to have whatever conditions that they have. Yeah, but like it seems so much easier for the person who has carers looking after them, or like a really big room that they can do stuff in, or like a bed that alters and adjusts and stuff, compared to people who like they literally just have the bare minimum to be able to like cope with their condition. It's so sad. That job was so sad. Like some days I would just come back and be like, rah, like you really are just in your own bubble in life and society. You don't realize like how bad it can be for people.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't do that no more, praise Jesus. But yeah, that was mine. His home was actually disgusting. But before we go, housekeeping. Guys, you know our fave friend. I'm actually being so dramatic, it's actually not that deep. Like
acting like I'm dying.
She's not. Forenz is the fiance, right? And so she's getting married, and so she has a lot of shit on her plate, and it's not shit actually, it's actually love. She has a lot of love on her plate, and she has to plan it in order to let, she's rolling her eyes, she has to plan it. And obviously this podcast, as easy as you make it seem, it is a lot of work, it's a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of time to get regular episodes out. And so because we want to keep doing episodes and we don't want Forenz to fall down and die, we're going to give Forenz a hiatus, and I'm sure you can all agree that like this is very much deserved. So sis is going to be on a break for the foreseeable future. Okay.
Oh, I feel so sad now. I feel like I'm leaving like feel like I'm leaving my kids. I'm chilling.
Okay, she's on a little break. She needs it, man. Honestly, but she needs to be good. But what we're gonna do, I don't know. I decided or not. But I'm gonna try and vlog the wedding. Like, I'm actually going to try my best. Obviously, like, I'm a bridesmaid.
Well, I think it
Anyone
should be.
who was back in my BD on eyewear days, no, back in my Miss BD days, and I used to vlog. So, like, I'm actually going to vlog the wedding and vlog Dubai, so you guys can actually watch it on our YouTube and be like, oh my god, yeah, I was there, kind of vibes. Yeah,
so
you'll
you
be
can
able to
see what I was doing when
the
I
fruits
was
of the labor.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we're going to do that, and we'll upload that for you when we can. But in the meantime, so we can give you episodes, I'm going to have a different guest each week, and we're going to go through a documentary. So no, it's not going to be the same, because Florence the fiance is not going to be here. But we're gonna keep calm and carry on. All right.
Yeah, we'll make it
through.
through.
Get some episodes up. Have you got any words for the people then?
No, just I'll be a bit corny and just say thank you for all the people who've listened to us so far. Like, it's been so many tough times. Like, I was saying to BD this today or yesterday that we started this podcast and I had so many like difficult and good things happen, but overall a lot of life-changing things like happened, like on the pod. And obviously, like, if you guys listen, you'll know, like, I had lost my granddad. Like, if you don't know, I've been in a long distance relationship. COVID was like a big thing, and then planning like a wedding is super, like, guys, don't even do it. Just go to the registry and call it a fucking day. Like, I said this to everyone. It's not worth it. I mean, it will be worth it, but it's not.
Exactly. It will very much be worth it.
Yeah, but no, I appreciate everyone and the listens and the comments we get whenever we see comments like, oh, I just found your pod and it's so amazing, or I just listened to this episode or this or that. Like, it makes my day, because like when you're juggling so many things and you're thinking, is anybody out there actually listening to me every week chat shit, it's good to know that one person, even if it's just one person, is. But yeah, the break is needed, and I am excited to come back refreshed, rejuvenated, and married. Yeah. Can finally bear back in the eyes of God. That's the
no more fornication for the nation.
No more fornication.
But yeah, so next week we are going to cover the first episode of Netflix's Web of Make-Believe, Death, Lies and the Internet, and that episode is called Death by SWAT, which is actually very wild. And so I will introduce our guest next week.
It'll be a surprise every week, a different surprise.
Every week will be a surprise, because we need to figure it all out. No,
I'm actually so excited to listen to the episodes that I'm not on. It's going to be like, oh, okay, like something different.
Yeah, it's going to be weird for you.
Yeah, it's going to be like a whole new pod. So yeah, another pod on mine.
Yeah, no, but even when I listen to our podcast, sometimes like I'll just listen to our podcast and like it's like I wasn't there. It's like I didn't not only record it but edit it. I'm like, wait, this is like literally the third time I'm partaking in this episode and I'm still having a great time. Like it's very strange.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm going to play the trailer for that at the end. But yeah, is there anything else you'd like to leave us with?
No,
you good?
I'm good.
You look so sad.
I do feel sad. I feel so sad. It's like
it's necessary.
It feels like I know what women feel like when they go back to work after being on mat leave. I feel like I'm leaving my baby, and I'm like, oh, whoever's coming, are they gonna treat it the same way? Is it gonna be?
That's so funny. Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
She tried, honestly, like she was trying to continue, and I was looking at her, and I was like, okay, I'm making an executive decision.
Yeah,
because what is this?
It's good to have two people there, because I would have just fought for my life till I lost the battle.
I was like, girl, no, absolutely not. So yeah, no, I'm working on it, because I'm trying to get you guys episodes before I have to begin bridesmaids duties. So they're gonna be out.
Yeah, but we must get the vlog up so you guys can see why I was on the hiatus. Hopefully, when you see it, you'll be like, oh my gosh, this was such a nice wedding. Like, I can see why you were like so stressed and busy.
Yeah, I'm gonna vlog everything. I'll vlog like the bridal shower and like the hen do, all that kind of stuff. Whatever it is that we're doing.
Bridal
we're doing
showers happened.
Was that what that was? Okay, yeah, Hendy. We're doing the Hendy. I can't keep up. I'll vlog
I'll soon fire you as bridesmaid. The embarrassment moment is to know the events that you're attending.
From the moment I touched Dubai, yeah. In fact, even before when I'm on my way to the airport, the vlog will begin.
Okay.
So you people can really see the, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Perfect.
And so subscribe to our YouTube channel, 2 Girls 1 Doc, so that you can see it when it drops.
Yeah. And we'll try to do anyways. Let me keep my mouth shut. But yeah.
You know, don't make no promises we can't keep.
Yeah. Okay.
But you know, just to echo Foren's sentiments, like it honestly means the world that you guys listen. The fact we're still listening to this, like, raw, shout out to you, man. But yeah, like, honestly, it means the world. If you're still here, 5-star review, please, I beg. I can see the numbers going up. It makes me so happy. But also share with people. And yeah, we appreciate you guys. Any documentaries that you want us to do as well, just DM us, email us. Yeah, I don't know what the other options are, but just contact us and let us know.
TikTok
and we'll
us.
get them done for you. TikTok us. But yeah, in the meantime, between time, you can find us 2 Girls 1 Doc on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and 2 Girls 1 Doc podcast on TikTok. And yeah, I'll play the trailer at the end. And yeah, right. That's it.
Bye.
Okay, we're recording.
All right.
So maybe the best place to start is, how did you get involved in this?
I was in an argument with someone that most people would consider a hacker. I was reading the texts on my phone, and I guess I said something that kind of, I have to assume, like, insulted his pride or his ego or something. And this person sent the SWAT team to my house at midnight.
I wasn't born in Jamaica. I wasn't born anywhere.
When I looked out my window, I noticed it was really bright outside, like really bright. So then I walked out my room and opened the front door.
I wasn't born in New York, nor on the banks of River Sand. I wasn't born in New York, nor on the banks.
I looked up in the sky and it was a helicopter.
I played for God.
The light was so bright that it seemed like it was like mid-afternoon. That's how bright the light was. And then shortly after, cop cars started pulling up and they were getting out with shotguns and rifles.
Maybe by land, maybe by sea.
It was an eye-opening experience that he could do that to my house over nothing, because it was a hoax call. Whatever he said wasn't true. He said that someone was being held hostage in the closet. I learned later that he even pretended to be the girl that was allegedly being held hostage in my closet. I wasn't scared for my life. I didn't feel like I was going to die or anything. I just thought it was cool that he could do that.
I wasn't born in New York. I wasn't born.
You thought it was cool?
That's what I thought about that experience. Quite frankly, I was thinking, holy shit, this guy actually just sent the SWAT team to my house, and he's not worried at all about the consequences.
Maybe by sea.
This call is from a federal prison.
So on-screen text tells us it doesn't actually, because we've done that bit already, so I'm gonna so broadcasting station. Oh, I need to do that again. I know why I said that now. Okay, no, it doesn't matter, it's fine.
But that's your job.
Yeah, and that's why that's not my job. These ones are contagious, girl.
I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me.
However, how important is that one? Guys, if you hear all the bloopers, I swear to God, I'm a mess today. Yeah, I mean, everyone close to Phil. Lord Jesus, give me strength.